Hello everybody, and thank you for stopping by. This is Blue Jay Acres, and thank you so much for being patient with us. We have been very sick. We are finally feeling like ourselves again. When I had said that I'd be back in a couple days, I did not expect it to continue to be so hard on us. We just got really sick. I don't know what else to say. It just happened, and it lasted for over a month. We weren't hardly even able to go up and down the stairs, in and out of the doctor, urgent cares. It was just an awful mess. So we are back though. Everybody hopefully is feeling better and on the mend. But anyway, today I'm going to share with you guys, I actually filmed this for you a couple days ago. Jake came home for just to see us and spend the day with us. And so I had the girls, I had Jake, and so I made a wonderful dinner and dessert. So I wanted to share that with you guys. So here is a dinner and dessert from the other day, and I'll see you at the end. Alright, so in this crock pot here I have some sweet potatoes from our garden, some purple onions, some potatoes from our garden, and carrots. Then I'm also going to add a can of tomatoes along with the juices. That again was from our garden that I canned last year. Then I'm also going to add some soy sauce, some red wine, some basil, and then for a little kick I like to add a little bit of Korean crushed red peppers, but that's optional. Or you could use a little bit of cayenne or a little bit of red pepper flakes. And then I'm going to be using a chuck roast. And I'm just going to nestle that in there. This is still just a little bit frozen. That's okay. I'm going to make some slits on the top. And I'm just going to put in some sliced garlic. I got this out 2 days ago and it's still frozen. And I've had it sit now for about 3 hours this morning. It's 8:30. I wanted to get it in about a half hour ago. And then the meat juices will all kind of get in there, and then I'll just kind of shred it in with everything when it's done. So this will go for about 8 hours. And then the top of the meat, I'm just going to add a little bit of salt and pepper. And that's it. I'm going to let this just cook and set it aside. Alright, next I'm going to make the broccoli salad because that's best if it just sits in the fridge for a while. So I'm going to start by heating up my pan, and then I just diced up some bacon here. And our bacon is very salty because we get it straight from the butcher, freshly cured, so it's very salty. So I don't need to add a salt to my salad. However, if you're not using a really salty bacon like I am, then you want to add some salt to your salad if you make this. So I'm just going to add the bacon and just fry it up real quick. Alright, next I'm going to just add the bacon to this broccoli. I just have some washed, chopped up broccoli here. Then I'm going to add some diced or chopped red onion. And I'm just going to kind of toss it a little bit, and then we're going to make a dressing. Oh, I need to add the cheese. Then we'll make a dressing. Alright, so for this dressing, I decided to go and do the dressing first. We're going to take some mayonnaise. It's like making a coleslaw dressing. I'm going to use some red wine vinegar. I'm not going to do salt. I'm going to pepper. And then I'm going to add some honey. You could do sugar. Honestly, you could even do maple syrup. You could do like stevia. It's really just some kind of sweetener. Stir it all together. And then you got to taste it. Make sure it's sweet enough. I find that our sugar in the raw, it just doesn't blend good in this kind of thing. It would be gritty, where honey does better. So a little taste. I think that'll be good enough. Pour it over the salad. Then I'm also going to add some grated cheddar cheese here. Now you could do as much or as little as you want. I'm not going to do too much. This is very finely shredded because my son is not a huge cheese lover, and that should be enough cheese in here. Then just toss it up really good, and this is going to be best when left in the fridge overnight, or at least a few hours. This will go in my fridge for about 7 hours before we eat. I like to give it just a quick little taste, give a little bit of everything. I just want to make sure. I know it's going to taste better. The broccoli gets softer. That is perfect, so I'm just going to put some wrap on it and put this in my fridge. So for dessert tonight, we're going to make peach cobbler and ice cream. So I'm going to go on, I've got frozen peaches here. I'm going to add some sugar to them, get them good and sweet. And I'm going to let these just sit and thaw most of the day and get like a little syrup on them. And dessert will come together very fast and easy. Okay, next I'm going to make some honey wheat bread. I'm going to start off with 2 cups of warm water. I'm going to add 1.5 tablespoons of yeast. And then I'm going to add some honey. I'm gonna just give it a quick little spin. Then I'm gonna let this sit for about 5 minutes to bloom and get nice and bubbly, and then we'll add our just salt, flour, and oil. All right, so now this is all nice and bubbly. I'm gonna add a teaspoon, maybe a hair, about a 1 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Then I'm gonna add a little bit of avocado oil. I really don't measure any of this. I just kind of put it all together and do it. I'm gonna add about 6 cups of flour. This is whole wheat. I'm using a hard white wheat. You could always add an egg in here if you want. You could always add butter in here if you want. You could always add milk instead of water, or some milk, some water. Play with it however you want. I'm just doing a very basic honey wheat bread. Then we're gonna let this knead, and I'll show you the consistency it should be, and then we're gonna let this knead for about 5 minutes. Okay, so you want it to do this, and you want it to just pull away from the sides. And this is still kind of sticky and soft, and it might start sticking to the sides again. But with freshly ground wheat, you want it a little bit stickier than if it's not freshly ground, because it kind of soaks it up as it sits. I'm gonna let this go for about 5 minutes now. Okay, next I am just going to cover this and let it rise for an hour, hour and a half, somewhere in there. Okay, next I'm gonna make the ice cream. So I'm gonna start by skimming the cream off of a gallon of milk. If you do not have a milk with raw milk with cream on top, then you can just do heavy cream. I don't really measure again with this, and I'll show you why. I'm just trying to get the cream first. And I'm gonna put it in my blender. You're gonna mix cream and milk. So if I go down a little bit and there's a little extra milk, it's okay. Okay, so all together, I don't know, maybe a quart, a little over, of cream. Then to this I'm gonna add 3 egg yolks. These are just fresh egg yolks that were gathered, probably yesterday. I think one might have been from today, because we haven't been out yet. It's only 12:30. Just how birds laying. So I got 3 egg yolks in there. I'm gonna add a pinch of salt, and we have been making this a lot with honey, but today, because my boy is coming, I'm gonna add sugar, and we're gonna do it just with some sugar today. I'm also gonna add some vanilla. Now I have vanilla bean powder. If you have extract, actually it says it's better because it will help the alcohol will help keep it from freezing so hard. But I don't have extract, I just have vanilla bean powder. And that's all that goes in here. We're gonna just top it off with a little bit of milk when we go to put it in the ice cream machine. So I'm gonna blend this up real quick. All right, I'm just gonna whip it up. Now, if you wanted to add strawberry or chocolate or whatever you want, you can make it any flavor you want. Basic vanilla is what we're doing today because we are doing it with peach cobbler. So I'm gonna just turn this on. I don't want to whip it too long because I don't want it to turn into butter, because I am using real cream, so it will easily turn into butter. Then you just want to give it a little taste, make sure it's sweet enough. That is so perfect. All right, next the ice cream maker. All right, so next I've got the ice cream maker going here. And this is just a Cuisinart 20 quart I'm sorry, 2 quart, not 20, frozen yogurt sorbet and ice cream maker. I have liked it a whole lot. I have to turn it on before you add your ice cream. And then I'm just pouring this in. And then what I do from there is I top it off with milk. And that way I know I'm not going over. I might even get it a hair bit full there. That's it. This goes then for 20 minutes and voila, we have ice cream.
What are you doing? Oh.
All right, get it for a minute. Okay, so now this is done. So just look, this is like a perfect soft serve ice cream right now. It does thaw pretty quick. So I'm just gonna put it in a container and it'll be ready to go. But if we were having it right now, if I wasn't filming it for you guys, I would have just made it right before we ate so that it could just be a soft serve like this, but it's gonna be wonderful. I'm gonna get this in a container and then we'll put this over top of our delicious peach cobbler. All right, now we are back to our bread. It rose. When I pulled it out, it deflated a hair. When I pulled it out of the stove, I had it, or the oven, I just had it heating up in there. I'm just gonna spray down my 2 loaf pans. This could be turned into whatever you want. It could be rolls, it could be bread, which is what we're doing, breadsticks, buns. This is a very basic recipe. But I'm just gonna turn it into 2 loaves of bread. You could also fill it right now with like some sugar and raisins and brown sugar and cinnamon and raisins, however you want to do. I always end up with 1 small loaf and 1 big loaf because I never get it really quite even. Alright, then these are going to get covered for about half hour to an hour. And while we're waiting on that to rise, I'm going to just stir up my peaches. And I think I'm going to go on and make my cobbler. See how frozen? They're still a little frozen. That's a big one. Break that into pieces. Okay, so here I'm going to go on and set my oven to 350 degrees. Okay, and then I'm just going to put this baking dish in with a stick of butter. It's a half a cup of butter. And I'm going to let that get all nice and melted in the oven. Alright, so now we're going to make the batter real quick to go with it. So it's just a cup of sugar. A cup of flour. A tablespoon of baking powder. A little bit of salt, just a couple pinches. And a cup of milk. I think some of you call it the cuppa. That's definitely the easiest out there. And I'm just gonna whisk this all together. And this will be our batter. Alright, so here I've got the butter. I'm just gonna stir this last little drop, didn't melt. Make sure it's on there good. Then I'm gonna just pour my batter over top. No stirring. Then on top of that, I'm gonna start adding our peaches. Probably about all the peaches I can fit in here. I don't know. Then I'm gonna sprinkle the top with some of this sugar. And then we're gonna bake this at 350 for, I don't know, probably 20-30 minutes until it's nice and golden brown on the top. Okay, so now the bread is done. So I'll pull you over. It's risen. So I'm going to put this in alongside of the peach cobbler that we got going on. And I am just going to top it with melted butter. I have been using an egg on top, and that's what I normally use. But in the honey wheat, melted butter, I just feel like it's so much better. So that's what we're using. And that's it. I'm gonna pop these in the oven too. Today. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to be back really soon. Promise it won't be so long. And I'll share another yummy meal with you. Bye everybody. See you next time.